My photoshoot pitch to the Filipino American International Book Festival was replied to in 12 minutes. I got the receipts. In this video, I'll be going through the 7 key elements to include in your next pitch or proposal. But first, here's a backstory. On Friday, October 14, I was invited to the 6th Annual Filipino American International Book Festival in partnership with San Francisco's main public library to photograph the participating authors. As a Filipino American myself, this is a pretty big deal to, 1, have this type of event here in San Francisco. I'm a Daly City native now living in South San Francisco. 2, to learn more of these amazing authors and their work in person. And 3, to have more representation of the creative Filipinos, not only here in the US, but from all around the world. And October is Filipino American History Month in the US. Here's a quick behind the scenes recap of my shoot at San Francisco's Philippine Cultural Center.
You feel alive, let's hit the dance floor. Don't work too hard, might break a backbone. Return to the Mac, the king is back though. Give her the cash, I never let go. She saw the stone, you know how that go.
And here's some of the portraits from that shoot.
Versace trunks, I hit my backstroke. Knock on the door.
Now, let me explain how I got into the position of producing these portraits. I first learned about the Filipino American International Book Festival on Instagram about a week ago. I honestly looked at my calendar and thought, cool, I'm not doing anything. I already wanted to go, but I usually never let an opportunity that can involve myself, my photography, and or my business go by. So I went to work on writing out a quick proposal. Here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create official portraits of these authors who really are coming from all over. While I can attend the event, potentially wait in line to meet and greet these people, I figured why not have them meet, greet, and sit in front of me for a portrait? Because here's one of the biggest advantages of being a photographer and or creative: access. If you're a great photographer, cinematographer, or any-er, it becomes a bridge to doors where a normal person wouldn't have access to. Simply put, your skill is something someone wants. That's the bridge. But what gets you through the door is going to be your sales ability, your presentation, and your professionalism. So before I break down my photoshoot pitch, one key thing to ask yourself is, do he or she or business or brand want you and your skill? As in, are you a great fit to be the photographer, cinematographer, or whatever you're pitching to the individual brand or business? For me, photography is a commodity. Access to creating images have been democratized because we've all become photographers with our phones and entry-level cameras that really is good enough in today's standards. Nevertheless, if you're good at it, someone will want you. If you're a photographer and you're good at lighting, composition, directing, posing, or whatever, someone will want you to do that for them. Now, I'm going to share and break down my pitch email. Here's 7 elements to include in your next pitch to ensure that you'd get a response. While this particular email was replied to in 12 minutes, I can't promise similar results, but I believe you will get a faster response time for sure. Number 1, find the right person to contact. No matter how good your pitch is or compelling your copy is, it doesn't matter if it doesn't fall to the right person who's making the decision. Lucky for me, my work was cut out because on the press release itself, it listed who to contact. Now that I knew who to write to, here's what I wrote. Hey Christina and Jamie, my name is JJ Jumat Casas and I'm a San Francisco-based portrait and film photographer. Number 2, establish who you are. In my first sentence, I introduce myself, where I'm from, and mention that I am Filipino American, which in this instance is relevant to instantly build rapport. Make it easy in one sentence to let the others know what you do. I also hyperlink this sentence to link to my portfolio. Give instant validation that you are qualified helps right off the bat. Excited to see the book festival at the library. Number 3, show your form of support. My second sentence lets them know that I'm essentially an attendee. I quickly let them know that I'm aware of the upcoming book festival and genuinely was planning to go, which I did. Mentioning your form of support in the form of a purchase ticket, attendee, customer, or fan lets them know that you are part of their world. I mentioned my form of support because this is similar to, I've scratched your back, will you scratch mine? It is worth mentioning though, to be genuine about this. Don't say that you're a big fan when in reality you don't know shit about them. Surely this will come back to bite you. I wanted to see if we can produce official portraits of the authors. Think of it how Mark Seliger produces Oscar party portraits for Vanity Fair. Number 4, be specific on what you want to do and show example. This is your what. I quickly explained that I want to do portraits like this. I hyperlinked the last part of the sentence, which shows a famed photographer, Mark Seliger's work, to add a point of reference to make the recipient say, oh, whoa, this is cool. Because the authors are from all over the US are coming to the event, I believe it's deserving to be able to make official portraits to celebrate these authors. Would love to do so in partnership with Phil Book Fest and SF Public Library that can be used for social and web. Number 5, give an absolute reason for them to agree with you. For me, this is the most important part of the pitch. Here's why. I established in the first sentence that authors from all over the US are making a trip to San Francisco for this event, even from Philippines. Then I write, I believe it's deserving to make official portraits to celebrate these authors. That is the most manipulative sentence I could write, or the most genuine reason why this photo shoot should happen. Here's my thought. When you are sold something, the brand, company, salesperson, or product was able to convince you that you needed whatever was being sold to you, even though you didn't think you needed it in the first place. And this is the reason why this part is the most important part of the pitch. The intro to myself, great, but really who cares, as I'm one among thousands of photographers here in San Francisco. What I'm asking, okay, sure, that sounds great, but how does this benefit me, is what the person would be asking himself. But if I'm able to point out a void that I can fulfill, then ideally that person should say, oh what? Yes, I need you to do that for us now. With just a minimal footprint, a 5-foot wide background to unify the look, and even just one light like this, I can make it work. So for number 6, explain how easy it is to be able to accomplish your pitch or proposal. The goal of my pitches and proposals is to make it easy for the person to execute, so I want to answer as many questions as I can right off the bat. In one sentence, I explained all I needed was a small space because I knew my equipment for this wouldn't take up as much room. The 4 questions that most recipients of a pitch will have are, how can we accomplish what you're pitching? How quickly can we accomplish it? How quickly can we see the finished product? And lastly, how much is this going to cost? So far, I've answered 2 of those 4 how questions. The questions on pricing and when results will be seen will only be asked if they want or need what you're pitching. I know it's going to be a packed day, but if there happens to be an area of the library that we can designate, I can make it work where the authors can be directed to come by for a 2 to 3 minute portrait. Thanks so much for your consideration, JJ. And lastly, number 7, show empathy. Let them know that you understand their role, their schedule, and whatever weight is already on their shoulders. Your goal and job is to essentially make them look better by producing something that they approve that you pitched. So for me, if and when I can show empathy, I will, because I want to show that I am understanding from his or her point of view. A lot of work goes into any production, so ensuring that my production will go smoothly without a hitch helps alleviate any worries or added stress to what she or he is already doing. Plus, photography is part of the service industry, and letting my client know that I will take care of him or her by being a professional in delivering results will only help my cause to be trusted to do the job. So, 12 minutes later after sending my pitch, Christina follows up and lets me know she'd love to make this happen. Even though I didn't get to shoot at the San Francisco Public Library, but instead at their gala dinner the night before the weekend festival, where it was easier for me to get the authors in front of my camera while being able to eat some of my favorite Filipino food with a glass of calamansi juice in hand, I surely wasn't complaining. Implement these 7 key elements to increase the response time of your next pitch and proposal. Find the right person to pitch to, establish who you are, show your form of support, be specific on what you want to do, give an absolute reason to agree with you, explain how easy it is, and show empathy when you can. Once again, I'm JJ, and if you like this type of content, like this video, save it, subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment and let me know what did you like about my guidelines, and or tell me what you do differently when it comes to writing out your pitch or proposals. Cheers.